Khalil Rountree dominates Jamal Hill in a 5-round win with scorecards being 50-45 and another one being 49-46. There's a lot that's going next for Khalil Rountree that I would like to talk about. Also, Jon Jones just retired from the UFC. This is a very interesting move. We'll cover all this in this video, but before I get into it, if you guys can, please hit the subscribe button and let's shoot for 10 likes on this video. Anyways, let's get into it. To start off with, Khalil Rountree 5 rounds, just absolutely demolished Jamal Hill. I'm very surprised on Jamal Hill not adjusting into this fight, especially if especially with the defensive awareness that he's kind of been lacking with previous fights. He absorbed a lot of punches and a lot of kicks in his previous fights, and he didn't really adjust to it that much. I feel like the biggest downfall with Jamal Hill in this fight is not checking the leg kicks early on into the fight. You know what I mean? Khalil Rountree was he knew what the game was. Just get him with those low leg kicks, right? And that'll eventually get Jamal Hill compromised. And then from there, do what you got to do. Be patient with the shots. And eventually he's going to get Jamal Hill, crumbling. And so that's what he did great within the first 2 rounds. Following with that in the 3rd round, Khalil Rountree knocked him down twice, dominates throughout the whole fight. I'm surprised that was not a 10-8 round. I'm going to be quite honest with you. But listen, I've seen worse decisions happen within the UFC, so I'm not really complaining about it that much, right? Then we get to rounds 4 and 5, and listen, it's Khalil Rountree's fight overall, man. It really is. Khalil Rountree overall had a really great performance, and I can't wait to see what's next for him. I want to throw out a couple suggestions before I get to the Jon Jones news. I think Khalil Rountree should fight Yuri Prochazka next, with them being the next opponent, while also Jamal Hill being in a 3-fight losing streak should probably have a prospect on the coming up fight against Jamal Hill. So, me personally, I think Dominic Reyes, with his resurgence, should take on Jamal Hill, and depending on how he does, I think that's the fight that should be made next. You know what I mean? Goes against a former UFC champion, and yeah, I would love to see that fight next. I think that's what's rewarding for both Dominic Reyes and a fair fight for Jamal Hill, and it'll be exciting at the end of the day. Now, Jon Jones retiring from the UFC. According to Dana White in the clip, he retired last night. Now, honestly, I think that is just why all this just to retire. You know what I mean? I kind of knew we were not going to get this fight, and I had a gut feeling that we weren't going to get this fight ever. And to be honest, if Jon Jones did not want to fight Tom Aspinall after fighting Cyril Gane, and honestly after Stipe Miocic, he should have just gave it up. He should have been like, all right, cool, I'm retiring. He last fought Stipe Miocic in November. We're in June. If you'd have just retired back in November, there would be no conversations ahead about, Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. You know what I mean? He made people wait extra 7 months just for him to retire. And honestly, this will, as much, okay, this wouldn't affect my, whatever Jon Jones has done in the sport. I personally still have him as the greatest of all time. But this will affect his legacy, though, just because of how long he waited for this fight to potentially happen, just for him to pull a retirement. You know what I mean? So it's a little disappointing to see. I see that Dana White elevated Tom Aspinall as the heavyweight champion. Good decision by Dana White. And honestly, there's going to be a lot of momentum for Tom Aspinall going into this next fight. I think a lot of people having their eyes and becoming, fans of Tom Aspinall. I would like to see Tom Aspinall Cyril Gane fight. And I think that should be the fight that happens next. After Gane gets that Volkov win, that's the fight to make. And I think, in that Q4, October, November, December, if there's a headliner in England, have Tom Aspinall's defense be in his home country. And I think that should be the fight to make. But anyways, if you guys like this video and want more videos like this, please hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.